welcome. You're watching NewsX Digital. I'm Paradhi Bhanot and with me is my colleague Devika Chopra. We're going to very quickly talk you through why it is that the Bharatiya Janata Party has lost the Karnataka Assembly elections this year. Firstly, Devika, let's talk about the generation change, with B.S. Yadurappa stepping down, his son now coming in, stepping in, lots of new faces that the Bharatiya Janata Party has pulled in. They took so much time to decide their, candidate list. The new faces are there. Do you think that somewhere worked against the BJP?
Absolutely. Okay, so they decided to make this generational change maybe a little later. Maybe if that was their plan for Karnataka. They were hoping to beat the anti-incumbency and the corruption charges by the Congress by saying that, listen, okay, maybe some of these people have not delivered, but here, this is the young blood. We're trying to new faces, right? We're trying to infuse new faces into Karnataka. So just give us another chance, and we promise you that these younger leaders will be much better than their older counterparts. But I guess somewhere that plan for the BJP just didn't work out. People didn't in Karnataka connect as much with the newer faces. Maybe next election, you never know. Maybe these new leaders will be able to
groundwork.
Their base by the time it's the next election, but this time around they weren't able to connect with the people as much.
What about the Lingayat factor? Do you think that the BJP trying to bring in a new Lingayat face is also something that has not worked for them?
Of course, when you talk about Yadurappa, he was truly one of the tallest, not just for the BJP, but within Karnataka, one of the tallest Lingayat faces. So when in February he announces, just 2 months before elections, he announces that I will be exiting, it created quite a panic situation amongst, the BJP. They really had to figure out what they need to do. And then, of course, when this ticket problem happened, we saw several other Lingayat leaders also exit the Bharatiya Janata Party. Somewhere they were not able to control that narrative that, okay, no, we still have very credible Lingayat faces who back our party, and therefore they were not able to really consolidate that Lingayat vote. Even though the BJP was trying to be very confident, we saw that it didn't work out.
But BSY's son, B.Y. Vijayendra, has won the Shikaripura seat. So as far as that goes, at least BSY's seat continues to be within the family, if that is some sort of consolation for...
Yes, but ultimately that's one seat, Paridhi, out of 224, right? So Vijayendra has managed to not embarrass his father. He's managed to keep the seat within the family, maintain the family bastion. But ultimately, in a game of numbers, one seat really is not going to cut it.
Be the game changer. And, what about this anti-incumbency track record that we've seen of Karnataka? Now, the BJP has been able to disprove this in other states, such as, for instance, Uttar Pradesh, right? But for Karnataka, they do not seem to have been able to get over the anti-incumbency sentiment in the state.
It's amazing, actually, how Karnataka votes. For the past 40 years, they've been switching between every party. Every election. So if you come to power today, you won't be able to come to power the next. This has been the case for the past 4 decades. So it's absolutely fascinating why this happens again and again. Why is it that nobody who's come to Karnataka has managed to actually create an environment that would push people to vote for them once again? And another important reason for that could be, Paridhi, the fact that a lot of times political parties who come to power in Karnataka, they're only there for a few months. We see a lot of, horse trading, manipulation that takes place in Karnataka. Over the past few years, we've seen it. So, of course, when your government is only there for power for, say, about 1 or 2 years, you're actually more concerned about keeping your flock together rather than actually doing something so good on the ground, so amazing that people would bring you back to power. But given this time's result that the Congress has a very comfortable majority in Karnataka, you never know if this trend will change next time around.
And what about infighting, within the Bharatiya Janata Party? It's not often that we see the BJP fighting within itself, but what about this election season as far as Karnataka goes?
Right, they tried a lot with Basavaraj Bommai, and I guess he did hold the fort for BJP for a long time. But as soon as Yadurappa exited, it did create sort of a void and a vacuum, in Karnataka. They were, every party at the end of the day wants a tall leader to remain with them, at least, till the time elections are done. If Yadurappa had been around really for these elections, maybe things could have been a little different. Just a little bit. I'm not saying the BJP would have come back to power, because that's not been the trend in Karnataka, but maybe things would have been a little bit different and they could have maybe managed to get a few, join hands here and there. They weren't able to do that. So Basavaraj Bommai tried to really hold the fort down, but I guess he just didn't have, he doesn't have as much of a clout compared to a Yediyurappa. And then, of course, on the Congress, they were competing with the Siddharamaiah and DK Shivkumar, putting out a very united front. So that was a very difficult narrative and a perception to bring
BJP to crack. Absolutely. And, last but by no means the least, if we talk about these long road shows that were conducted by the Prime Minister, in the last leg, we saw some 36-kilometer long road show that PM Modi did. Do you think that the Bharatiya Janata Party was more or less riding on the fact that Pradhan Mantri humko jita sakta hai Karnataka?
Precisely, right? So when there were corruption charges, there was an anti-incumbency sentiment. You know that the people of Karnataka don't usually vote a party back to power once they've held an entire term. Then either you come up with a grand plan for the state, which we saw that the BJP struggled to do, right? They weren't able to really break that corruption perception that the Congress party had created around them. They weren't able to break that. So, of course, there's nothing wrong in relying upon the Prime Minister because he does have his magic.
He does deliver. He has delivered in the past.
Absolutely. And his magic works in a lot of states, but that can't be the sole pitch. And that's a big learning for the BJP, that you can only use Prime Minister Modi's national popularity to boost your own work that you've done in the state. So first you need to deliver yourself, do something amazing for the state, and then you bring in the Prime Minister, and then he gives you that last push that you need, that okay, this is a solid party which will continue on the ideals that have now been created by Prime Minister Narendra Modi nationally.
Absolutely. And as far as the BJP goes, it's going to be a setback for them. They had been pinning hopes on this election, but the Congress, of course, has taken the cake away. They're going to be forming the Sarkar. And with that, it's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching this analysis on NewsX Digital.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.